Hi, this is Justin Elliott, Vice President of Government Affairs at the American Physical Therapy Association, coming to you from the 2016 APTA State Policy and Payment Forum in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Licensure portability, how do we solve it? Well, today we have Leslie Adrian, the Director of Professional Standards at the Federation of State Boards of Physical Therapy, to talk about the issue of interstate licensure portability. There's been a lot of talk lately about this interstate compact that has been developed by the Federation. Tell us a little bit about what is the interstate compact for physical therapy and what will it do?
So the Physical Therapy Licensure Compact is actually, first and foremost, a piece of legislation that needs to be passed in every state that's interested in becoming a member of the compact. Now, what that piece of legislation will allow is for any physical therapist or physical therapist assistant that is licensed in a member state to go into another member state and practice via what's called a compact privilege. So they will not need to go through the entire process of getting an initial license or renewing licenses in multiple states. They will maintain one home state. They'll maintain the continuing competence requirements in that home state. They'll abide by whatever requirements are within that state, maintain that license, and then in order to practice somewhere else that's also a member state, they will apply for something that's called a compact privilege, which will be a much faster, much more streamlined authority to practice.
So it kind of sounds like the concept of a driver's license, where I'm licensed in one state, but then I can go into any of the other states that to, in this case, practice physical therapy. So tell me, how does disciplinary, under the compact, how would it work? If I'm licensed in one state and then I have a compact privilege in another state, and I go and I treat a patient there either in person or via telehealth, and something happens, how would the disciplinary action happen?
Well, hopefully all of you out there are not going to have this happen to you, and you won't have to encounter this situation. But if that does happen, and this is something that our state boards were very concerned with, obviously, because their main mission is public protection. If there was an incident in a state where you had a compact privilege, that state can only take action against the compact privilege. Okay. They do not have the ability to take action against your license. However, with the way that things do work, and they work this way now, had something happened with your compact privilege or there'd been an incident, that would be reported back to the home state, and the home state then can make the decision whether or not to take action against the license. Okay. Now, the other thing is, once you would have a disciplinary procedure against you, you have 2 years where you are really not eligible for a compact privilege anymore.
Okay, and it sounds like when it comes to scope of practice, obviously there are different scopes of practice state by state. Everything from some states have unrestricted direct access, other states have some restrictions tied to direct access, various interventions, even PTA supervision. So if I'm licensed in my home state and I go into another state, I need to follow the scope of practice in the state that I'm going into. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. So that's one of the most important pieces of this legislation, and something that we need all the physical therapist assistants, and also your legislators, when you're talking about this potential piece of legislation, to understand is that this bill and this piece of policy really has no impact on scope of practice. It doesn't change scope of practice in the state in which you enact this law, but it also says exactly what you said, that when I'm a physical therapist and I go into a compact privilege state, it doesn't matter what my home state license scope of practice is. It matters very much where you're treating that patient. So whatever they say, if you're allowed to treat by direct access in your home state, however, in the member state, they have more restrictions than you do in your home state, well, then you need to abide by the compact privilege scope of practice.
Okay. And so for this to happen, each individual state needs to pass legislation. That legislation needs to be the compact legislation that is exactly the same wording state to state. And I understand that we've had 4 states that have enacted this in 2016, Arizona, Tennessee, Oregon, and Missouri, correct?
That's right. Yep.
And there needs to be 10 states, though, before it becomes active. But obviously the goal is to have all 50 states enact the legislation.
Yeah, that would be the best case scenario for sure. Additionally, New Jersey has recently introduced the bill, so we still have some time to maybe go for 5 for 5 this year, which would be very exciting. But yes, part of any compact is usually the threshold level that you set. There is no magic to the number 10. It just was something that was pulled out of the air that seemed like a large enough number that it was going to make some impact for folks. But once we get to 10 member states, then what's called the Compact Commission is formed, and that's sort of the governing body of the compact, and that's made up of current board members throughout the country that are voted and brought into their to be their representative on the commission. And then the other piece that needs to be created is this database where all the information is going to keep track of. So once we have 10 states, a compact commission that's up and running with rules and bylaws, and then a completed data system, that's when it really kicks in for your members to be able to take advantage of.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Leslie. The Interstate Compact Commission, or Interstate Compact for Physical Therapy, it may be coming soon to your state. To learn more about it, there are resources both at the Federation website at fsbpt.org, as well as at APTA's website at apta.org. So stay tuned for additional dispatches coming to you from the 2016 APTA State Policy and Payment Forum.